Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a hug that made you stop thinking? One of those moments where for just a second the world faded and it felt like the only thing that mattered was the way he held you. Now, imagine this. What if you could make him feel that exact same way when he hugs you? What if there's something subtle, something most people never think about that you could do that would leave a mark on his mind and, more importantly, on his heart? When someone hugs you, especially someone you care about or are romantically interested in, that moment carries a lot more emotional weight than most people realize. A hug isn't just a physical embrace. It's a language of its own. It communicates comfort, affection, trust, and in some cases, deep longing or romantic energy. But here's the thing most people miss. Not all hugs are created equal. The way you respond in that moment can either deepen your connection or subtly dull the impact of it. That's where the idea of matching his energy and intent comes in. It's about being emotionally attuned, tuning in to what his hug is saying and meeting it with the right kind of presence. Some people hug without any awareness. They go through the motions, arms around the body, maybe a pat or a quick squeeze, and then they pull away. But if you want to create a moment he'll never forget, you need to be deliberate. When he hugs you, you're not just reacting, you're responding. There's a difference. Reacting is unconscious. Responding is intentional. It starts with reading his energy. Is it a quick, casual hug? Is it protective and strong? Is it vulnerable, gentle, lingering? Each of those types of hugs says something different about how he feels in the moment and what he's seeking from you emotionally. Let's say he gives you a strong, grounding hug. His arms wrap around you tightly. He pulls you close, maybe lets out a soft sigh. That kind of hug says, I want to protect you. I want you close. I feel safe with you. If you respond to that kind of hug with limp arms or distracted energy, you break the emotional circuit. But if you match it, if you lean into the hug, hold him back with a similar strength, maybe even anchor your hand on his back or shoulder, you're telling him, I feel that too. I'm here with you. You've created a mutual emotional resonance that deepens trust and intimacy. On the other hand, what if his hug is soft and hesitant, like he's testing the emotional waters? Maybe he's unsure how you feel, or he's trying to be respectful of your space. This is where sensitivity is everything. Matching his energy in that moment means being gentle. Maybe you respond with a soft touch or allow your body to relax into his. You're saying, you're safe here. You don't have to be afraid. That creates safety. And safety is the foundation of emotional connection. Matching intent goes even deeper. Energy is about how he feels in the moment. Intent is about what he hopes to communicate. Sometimes a hug says, I missed you. Other times it says, I'm here for you. Occasionally it says, I want you. Your job is to sense that message and reflect it back. Not with words, but with your body language and emotional presence. That doesn't mean you need to mirror everything exactly. It's not about mimicking, it's about resonance. Like two instruments playing in harmony, not unison. This requires emotional intelligence. It requires you to be in tune with yourself first. You can't match someone's energy if you're disconnected from your own. So in that moment, when he hugs you, check in with yourself, be present, breathe, feel. Let yourself be in that space fully, without overthinking. That's where the magic happens, when you allow yourself to simply be in that moment with him, attuned to what he's offering and ready to meet him there. Sometimes people make the mistake of overperforming in a hug. They try to do too much, add drama, lean in too hard, overcompensate. That's not matching energy. That's reacting from insecurity. True connection doesn't need exaggeration. It needs sincerity. If he offers you calm affection. Don't try to impress him with over-the-top intensity. That creates a mismatch. If he gives you a soft, meaningful embrace, and you respond with nervous laughter or stiffness, that creates emotional dissonance. But if you mirror his calm with a soft exhale, maybe a hand gently resting on his side, you match the emotional note he's playing. Even small details matter: the rhythm of your breath, the pace of your movements, whether you soften your muscles or stay tense. All of these things communicate your emotional openness. When you're truly matching his energy and intent, there's a flow, an unspoken rhythm that tells him, I'm right here with you, we're in sync. And in a world where most people are half present, glued to their phones, or lost in their own heads, that kind of attunement is rare. And because it's rare, it's unforgettable. When it comes to creating a powerful and unforgettable moment during a hug, one of the most overlooked aspects is presence. Holding someone with presence means being fully there. Not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. It's about showing up with your whole self in that moment. So many people hug like they're distracted, thinking about what to say next, what's happening around them, or what they look like while doing it. But a hug that leaves a lasting impact is one where the other person can feel you're completely focused on them. There's no rush, no anxiety, no half-hearted gesture, just presence. Presence starts with awareness. Before you even wrap your arms around him, ask yourself, am I here right now? Can I bring my energy into this moment instead of letting it scatter across a dozen thoughts? When you hug someone with true presence, you're saying more than just, I care. You're saying, this moment matters to me. That alone sets your embrace apart from what he's used to. Most people are so used to fast, functional hugs that when someone actually pauses, takes a breath, and truly holds them, it creates a moment of emotional stillness they're not expecting. Holding with presence means you're not trying to rush it. You're not awkwardly pulling away too soon. You're allowing the silence, the stillness, the closeness to exist without needing to fill it with words or actions. That can be incredibly powerful, especially if he's not used to that kind of connection. In a world where touch is often hurried or transactional, or being held by someone who is fully present is rare. And that rarity is what makes it unforgettable. Your body language communicates everything. The way you place your hands, the way you rest your head, the way your body either stiffens or melts into the moment. Those are all indicators of presence. If your arms are just loosely hanging on him, while your eyes are darting around the room, he's going to feel that disconnect. But if your arms rest on him with intent, if your body leans in with a sense of trust and openness, he'll feel the difference instantly. He won't be able to explain it, but he'll feel it. And that feeling will stay with him. Sometimes people misunderstand presence as intensity. It's not about being emotionally heavy or trying to make the moment deep. Presence is actually light. It's natural. It's relaxed, but attentive. It's when you're comfortable enough in yourself that you can stop performing and just be there. That authenticity is what he remembers. He remembers that he didn't feel pressure to impress or to be someone else. He just felt seen and accepted. Because when you're truly present, you give permission for the other person to be present too. To hold with presence, you have to let go of self-consciousness. Stop worrying about how long the hug should last or whether you're doing it right. A memorable hug isn't about technique, it's about emotional availability. When you show up emotionally open, grounded, and attentive, the hug becomes a shared experience instead of a one-sided act. He feels that you're not just hugging him, but connecting with him. Breath plays a quiet but essential role in this. When you breathe slowly and naturally during a hug, your body signals calm and safety. That energy transfers to him. He might not consciously notice it, but his body will. It's like you're telling his nervous system, you can relax here. That's the kind of subtle impact that creates emotional memory. Our bodies remember how people make us feel, even when our minds don't have the words to describe it. Eye contact, even before or after the hug, is part of that presence too. When you look at him softly, without rushing or glancing away, you communicate that you're with him fully. And when you enter the hug from that place, when he feels that presence in your eyes, then in your arms, it creates a seamless emotional experience. You're showing him that this isn't just a habitual hug. This is a moment that has weight, that has care behind it. Your internal state sets the tone. If you're calm, warm, and genuinely interested in connecting, that energy wraps around him as much as your arms do. He feels safe, seen, and grounded. And that's not something people forget. A present hug tells him, you matter right now. And that feeling is powerful because it touches something deeper than words can. Subtlety often carries more emotional weight than grand gestures, and when it comes to physical touch and presence, the little things matter more than people realize. One of the most overlooked yet deeply impactful elements of a memorable hug is the way you use subtle touch and your breath. These two components, when used consciously and with care, can completely change the emotional quality of the moment. They can shift a hug from something routine into something that lingers in his memory long after it's over. Let's start with touch. Not all touch is created equal. There is a huge difference between mechanical, automatic contact and intentional, delicate touch that carries feeling. During a hug, most people simply wrap their arms around the other person and that's it. But if you want to create a deep, lasting impression, you need to bring intention into your hands. Think about how you place them. Are they just there, or are they saying something? Are they holding space, providing comfort, communicating presence? These subtle movements are not about seduction or performance. They're about connection. When you lightly move your hand across his back during the hug, you're letting him know you're fully there. You're tuned in. Your energy is soft, open, and emotionally available. That creates a kind of non-verbal intimacy that he may not even be able to explain, but he'll feel it. It will stay with him because it's rare to be held by someone who is that emotionally aware and physically expressive in such a gentle, respectful way. And then there's breath, which is often completely ignored in conversations about touch and connection. But breath is energy. Breath is emotion. And when you're close enough to someone to hug them, your breath becomes part of the experience. Think about how different it feels when someone hugs you while they're tense, holding their breath, or breathing rapidly. That creates an energetic barrier, even if they're physically close. Now imagine someone hugging you while exhaling slowly, calmly, almost like a soft wave washing over you. That kind of breath brings calm, safety, and a sense of being emotionally held, not just physically. When you're in a hug, your breath should be relaxed and intentional. You don't have to exaggerate it or try to be dramatic. Just bring awareness to it. Let it flow naturally. Allow yourself to exhale gently while you're in his arms. That tiny, almost imperceptible shift in breathing invites him to relax too. It creates a shared rhythm. His body will start to match yours because that's how humans are wired. We synchronize. And when he starts breathing with you, even without realizing it, you've created a moment of deep subconscious connection. Breath and touch work together like instruments in harmony. While your hands provide soft physical cues of your emotional state, your breath sets the emotional tone of the moment. The combination of the two creates a full body message that says, I'm here. You're safe. This matters. And it's that message, repeated in the smallest of ways, that makes your hug different from all the others he's experienced. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's felt deeply. That kind of sensory memory gets stored in the body. Long after the hug is over, he'll remember how he felt in your presence. This is the kind of emotional experience that touches him beneath the surface. It's not just about how your arms feel wrapped around him. It's about how he feels inside himself while being held by you. When you tune into your own breath and use your touch with care, you invite him into a space of emotional connection without saying a single word. That space becomes a sanctuary in a world that often feels fast, distracted, and disconnected. In the middle of a hug, there's a window, a quiet, emotionally open space where words, if chosen carefully, can have extraordinary power. This is the moment when both people are physically close, their guards slightly down, and emotions are heightened. Just enough to let something real slip through. Whispering something genuine and unexpected in that moment turns the hug from something comforting into something unforgettable. It's a subtle shift, but it leaves a lasting emotional imprint, not because it's loud or dramatic, but because it catches him off guard in the best way, by reaching straight to his heart. The key here is sincerity. What you say should never feel like a script or a line you rehearsed. It should feel like something you didn't even plan to say, but something that came from the feeling of the moment. That authenticity is what makes it stick. Most people don't expect words during a hug, which is exactly why the right words, softly spoken, thoughtfully placed, can have such a deep impact. It doesn't have to be poetic. In fact, it's often better if it isn't. What matters is that it feels real, raw, and slightly vulnerable. It might be as simple as, I feel really safe with you, or I love how you hold me. These are not grand declarations. They're small truths that reveal your emotional state. And they do something powerful. They let him see himself through your eyes. In that moment, he's not just someone who's hugging you. He's someone who's making you feel something meaningful. That reflection makes him feel valuable, seen, needed, and whether he admits it or not, that moment will stay with him because people don't forget how you make them feel. Unexpectedness adds to the power. If he's used to physical closeness but not emotional intimacy, your words become a gentle disruption. They create a contrast. He expects the hug to be quiet, maybe routine, but then, softly, you say something that taps into a deeper layer of connection. The unexpected nature of that moment makes his attention snap to the present. He suddenly feels the moment isn't just physical, it's emotional, even spiritual. You're not just sharing space, you're sharing something of yourself. And that kind of intimacy is rare. Your tone matters just as much as your words. The volume, the softness, even the breathiness of your voice all carry emotional weight. When you whisper, you're drawing him into a private space, one only he gets to hear, one only he is invited into. It's intimate by design. Whispering in a hug creates a kind of micro world between the two of you. It's quiet, close, intentional. Your words don't echo out into the world, they land directly with him, like a secret, like a shared truth. That makes the moment feel sacred, even if it's just a few seconds long. You don't need to try to impress him. You don't need to say something profound. The magic is in the unexpected truth. Maybe it's an honest compliment he's never heard before. Maybe it's a quiet acknowledgement of how he makes you feel. Maybe it's gratitude. The trick is to make sure it's not rehearsed. Think of it as a thought you let slip out, a small truth that's meaningful to you, even if it seems simple on the surface. Even saying something like, "I didn't realize how much I needed this," can shift the emotional gravity of the hug. It's not flashy, but it's raw. It tells him that this moment is having an impact on you, and that in turn makes it impactful for him. We all want to feel like we matter, like our presence is meaningful. Your words can give him that feeling, not by building him up artificially, but by letting him see the real effect he's having on you. It's also important to be grounded when you speak. Speak from your heart, not from your nerves. If you're worried about sounding cheesy or vulnerable, remind yourself that vulnerability is where connection lives. The more emotionally honest you are, the more memorable your words become. You don't need to plan what you'll say in advance. Just feel the moment. Breathe it in. Let yourself notice what's true for you in that instant and share it softly. That kind of truth, delivered in the middle of emotional closeness, hits different.